So the big question is this: how are investors like us, who don't have a PhD in finance or millions to start investing, how do we grow our bank accounts to build real savings and retirements and yet still have the time to do what we really love? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answer. Hey guys, I just wanted to record this quick little episode. I just got to school and I pulled up my phone and just had this awesome little podcast about finding the money to save and invest, and finding that place in your life where you have the ability to put your money in the market and create that first investment. Because you got to remember, that first investment is the most important thing you'll ever do for your financial future. Because once you make that first investment, you're going to finally see the results come in, the results that are actually going to grow your entire portfolio. You're going to create real savings, you're going to create those retirements, because without that first investment, you never start to grow. When you don't start to grow, you're just not going to create the portfolio you want to achieve the future you want, the family you want, the dreams you want, whatever it is. So anyway, I recorded that, but apparently, I don't know what happened. I get to school and it is disappearing. It disappeared. So I got about 5 minutes walking to class here, and I just want to fill you in on most of the things that came out of that, because it's really, really important. And it's all about mentality and psychology, because here's the deal: you get paid X much money per month or whatever it is that you do. That's amazing, right? Here's the deal. I was talking about a book called The Millionaire Next Door, and it's a book that I've reviewed on my YouTube channel under the name John Wooten. And in the book, they talk about how these people literally created just massive, massive amounts of wealth, and all they do, is create real savings and retirements by investing in the American economy while living below their means. And the whole episode, I was talking about living below your means, and then not using it as limiting mindset, but using it as a fundamental principle, right? There's so many people, and they live above their means, right? They spend cash they don't have. They put in, you spend on your credit cards, you use debt, whatever it is. And I talk about it a little bit in the book, but you gotta understand, that's not good. You can't just keep spending cash. It doesn't exist. Or living at 100% of the income you make. You make $100, you spend $100. That's not gonna work. You're not gonna create wealth over time. And I talk about this case study. It's my good friend, and he worked at a cookout, and he was working minimum wage just like me. But what he did with his money was he would get a paycheck. He worked there for maybe 3, 4, 5 months. He'd get a paycheck, then he would spend every cent he had on food and drugs, and it was insane. It was crazy. Because now, instead of having money to create a legacy, it was it's just gone. It was all gone. Every single week, every 2 weeks consistently, right? And he just quit from his job. And now, I ask him, well, hey, what's going on with you now? He's like, dude, he has no money because he didn't save any of it. That's insane, because if you don't have any money saved, then how are you going to make those investments, right? You just aren't. There's no way to put those investments, put that time and put that work in when at a fundamental level, you just don't have the cash. You don't have the principle. And when you don't have the principle, that's when you get screwed, right? Because you just can't do it. It sucks. So we're talking about that. And also, to a greater extent, putting away 10, 20, whatever percentage of your income, every single paycheck, every single, time you make a deal, whatever it is that you do to bring value to the marketplace. Because when you do that, you get into a habit. Habits are insane. They're so powerful because they're going to force you to this whole other level of growth, where originally, you might just be wandering around, squabbling around. And those are the bad positions to be in, because if you only invest money when you have money left over, you're not going to have a great portfolio. The market rewards consistency, right? It's not about, I'll put in money when I feel like it. I'll invest when I feel like it. You can't do that, right? You've got to be in, or, there, if you're trading 9 to noon, you got to be trading every day to get those outperforming results, to go out there and crush it. And people just, they don't do it, right? So you put in, half effort, you squeal around, and that's when you start to have some serious issues with capital markets, because they will not reward you. They will punish you. You will be punished if you play short-term investing without being consistent, and especially with 9 to noon trading, you got to be there. You got to do it. And then with long-term investing, you can't just dabble, right? You go hard, and it doesn't matter what you start with, right? That's a really big growth mentality a lot of people get stuck on. It's you have to have money to invest. It's not true. You don't. It's not a problem when you think about the long-term value of your money. When you understand that 40 plus years of compounding growth, and even the most basic of ETFs, even the most basic of stock indices, is going to fundamentally change the way you retire. And even if you don't want to retire, right? Like even if you're looking at this stuff, like the 4-Hour Workweek, which is another book that I read, and I'll do a book review video on in my YouTube channel very soon under John Wooten. With that book, it talks about mini vacations, mini retirements, which is awesome, but it's still have to create those real savings in retirement by consistently putting stuff away, so that at a certain point in your life, you're gonna have these portfolios that grow so much over time. And they grow so much because you put the work in and you've done it. And even if like you're looking at installment payments, and I really have to go here, but the point is, like, if you look at paying, you know, an installment payment on a car, an installment payment on a house, like that's gonna cost you money. And it's gonna cost you a lot more. And if you put it in investments, if you put it in assets, because the value of those assets grow. And you can use the growth value, the compounding value of those assets as a fundamental way to grow over time. So you're paying less in the long term because you've put in the work up front and you've used that work as a way to grow your wealth to a whole nother level of superior growth. It's gonna absolutely change the way you're perceived in the marketplace and the immediate value that you can bring to any given transaction because you have put those work in, made the assets, and created real savings in retirement.
Want more stock market secrets? If so, go get your free copy of my best-selling book, 9 to Noon. You can get your free copy plus $11,176 of unannounced bonuses completely for free at 9tonoonsecrets.com. Inside 9 to Noon, you'll find the top 38 secrets we use to double our portfolios every 2 years and make upwards of 10% per trade daily.